guys, hey, I made it to Love's here in Rolla, Missouri. Let me give you a little update here. Let me turn the truck off so it's not as noisy. You know, I picked up this load in Granite City, Illinois, which is, you know, just on the Illinois side of St. Louis. And it delivers tomorrow at 2:20 p.m. in Catoosa, Oklahoma, which I'm at this point, you know, I drove a couple of hours from Granite City to get here, and I think I have like 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours to go to get there. You know, and I've stopped. I could have kept driving, but you know, it's 4:45 p.m. I stopped here because there's just no rush. You know, I mean, I've got, again, you know, this is a couple of disappointing loads really this week, because what makes them disappointing is that, you know, I had the 2 appointments, the one in Georgetown that had a hard delivery appointment, not an open window, and a whole lot of dead time. I mean, like 7 or 8 hours of dead time. You know, I could have got there and delivered, but I had an appointment way into the future that, you know, just couldn't get there. So a lot of sitting. And then this one's the same way, although not quite as bad. You know, it's got a hard appointment. I checked with the fleet manager to see if I could get earlier, and you know, all they can say is, you know, that's the appointment set by the customer. I could get there early and try to get worked in, but you know, there's no guarantees. You know, it is a hard appointment, and I've delivered to this place 2 or 3 times before. You know, they do kind of go by appointment, so if I just showed up 2 or 3 hours early, there'd be no guarantee, you know, I could get worked in until my appointment time. So, which means, you know, my appointment's at 2:20. I mean, I could basically sit here at this Love's until, you know, 10:30 or 11 o'clock almost, you know, tomorrow. So kind of disappointing. You know, it doesn't happen that often, like I talked about earlier, but this is one of those weeks where, you know, you kind of wish that you got paid for your time out here, because this particular week, you know, I will have spent basically a whole work day of time just sitting, you know, waiting for my delivery appointment, you know, and getting no pay. But, you know, like I've said before, you got to just not overthink it. You got to look at it in the big picture, you know, and, you know, are you happy with things overall? And my answer to that is yes. You know, some weeks are good. Like last week I had almost 3,000 miles, you know, and I drove almost my entire, you know, used almost my entire 70-hour clock. And, you know, I had a, you know, my bring home pay, I didn't look at my gross pay. Let me try to look that up real quick. Oh gosh, I hope it doesn't take too long. Let me try to find that. Oh, where is it? Okay, my gross pay for last week, you know, that week where I just mentioned, was $2,046. That's my gross pay, not my take-home pay. But you know, that's a good week. I don't have, you know, that's a good week. You know, they're usually not that good, and they're usually not as bad as this was going to be. You know, so but you know, you just got to look at companies pay differently. You know, like I've got a friend who, you know, now keep in mind too, you know, right now I'm making 68 cents a mile. Now you won't make that much right out of the gate, you know, your first few months, but after you've been at Maverick a year or year and a half or so, you know, you can be making that too, you know. So I mean, don't hold me to the timing on all that, you know. You kind of work up, and I'm getting my full 6 cents on the PFP bonus, which I think I've all but maybe 1/4 got, you know, always got the 6 cents, the full bonus. So with that, I'm making 68 cents a mile right now. But, you know, I've got a friend who, he honestly, I think he makes more not driving than he does driving. You know, he gets paid $26.60 for any time he's not driving. You know, if he's at a customer, picking up, delivering, getting fuel, broke down, getting his truck washed, you know, anything. And then he makes like 39 cents a mile while he's driving. So, you know, big difference there in the pay. You know, I don't get anything for sitting around doing stuff like that. But I'm getting 68 cents a mile. So, you know, just different ways. Like I said, you know, if you're happy with the big picture, then, you know, that's what's important, you know. But yeah, these two, you know, the 2 loads I've had this week with all the dead time, kind of a bummer, you know, because I don't like being out here. You know, I'm out here living on the road, living in this truck at a truck stop or rest area, whatever. That's not what I want to be doing. You know, I want to be, when I come out here for the week and work, you know, I want to run. You know, I don't want to be sitting around. You know, when I get my clock, I wake up, I drive, I go, I work hard, I move fast, I try to get things done and be efficient and get as much done and as many miles as I can. So when this happens, you know, where there's nothing I can do about it, you know, I'm just sitting out here occupying time in this truck and not making any money. So it's kind of a bummer if you let it get you down. So, but I'm okay. I'm just explaining this to you so you'll have an idea. So I just realized too, I did not film that load for you before I tarped it. You know, I told you what I was going to do, but I didn't show you. But, you know, the coil weighed about 30,000 pounds, so I put 4 chains on it, 4 over center binders. You know, I had to build a cradle for it. You know, I had four of the cradles. What are they called? I can't think of what they're called. The metal cradles, and then you set the timbers in them. You put the coil pads in there, skid mat underneath, then edge protectors on the coil, 4 chains, put a canvas tarp over it, and then 1 steel tarp did the job. So yeah, so that's where we're at for now. Oh, and let me address too, I've had a few emails today. One that I can recall was about PC. Somebody asked me about PC, and for those of you that are not familiar with that, PC in the trucking world stands for personal conveyance, and that's a term for it's actually, you know, it's a function on your clock, you know, your ELD. But personal conveyance is for you using your truck not for work purposes, but for personal reasons. For example, let's say right now I'm parked here at Love's, I'm off the clock. If I wanted to unhook from my load and leave my trailer here and lock it up and run a few miles down the road to a restaurant and have a nice meal, or go to Walmart or whatever, I could do that on personal conveyance. I go in here and put myself on personal conveyance, and it'll prompt you for a reason, and just say food run, shopping, something like that. And then I'm coming right back here to my load. I'm not taking my load anywhere, right? Or, you know, let's say you get to wherever you park your truck on the weekend. Maybe I park my truck at a Love's near my house, and I leave my trailer there, lock it up, and drive my truck home, you know, bobtail. I would do that on personal conveyance, you know, so it's not counting that as on your work clock, your drive clock. And the question was, how much time does Maverick allow you of personal conveyance every week? And I double checked it with my fleet manager, and it's 2 hours a week. So if you go over 2 hours a week, you know, somebody from the safety department's probably going to call you and say, hey, you know, you're kind of stretching it out there, you know, what are you doing? And you'll have a little chat. I've had that chat one time in my 2 1/3 year. Because, you know, the reason they have to watch it is people abuse it. It's probably the most abused thing on the ELDs. You know, people will use personal conveyance to drive a little farther, or they're delivering, but they put themselves on personal conveyance because they're trying not to use their clock. You know, stuff like that. You know, it gets abused. So that's the answer to that. And really the only time I try to use PC, or usually have to use PC, is if it's at the end of the day and I'm traveling, and maybe, you know, I'm trying to find a place to park and I run out of time. You know, it is legal to use PC and punch in the reason safe haven parking, something like that, so you can get down the road and find a place to park, you know, rest area, truck stop, anything. But the rules are pretty tight on that. You can't just drive as long as you want to and park wherever you want, you know, drive an hour and a half down the road and find you know, wherever you want to. It's supposed to be the most, you know, the first available parking place that you can get to, kind of a thing. So you know, a lot of gray area there. So, but that's the answer to that question. Maverick allows 2 hours of PC per week is the official answer. So, all right, that's it for now. See y'all tomorrow, though.